And at what point did you all realize that Anthony Devolder is George Santos, an elected?
A week ago.
A week ago?
A week ago. I started seeing his face on
and to be clear, obviously you're not following politics, you're not, right? So it's just like you kind of stumbled across his face. And
right. I mean, I watch the news all the time. Kind of a hobby. I love my YouTube news, but I saw his face and I knew I sort of recognized him a little bit because we had been Facebook friends while the campaign was going on. Mm-hmm. So I knew what he looked like, and I knew his voice, and that was the only thing I knew about him. And I saw him on TV, and I was like, I got a feeling in the pit of my stomach about this guy. Who is he, and why do I recognize him? Just about a week ago, he was in the Capitol, and there was a bunch of reporters following around, asking us questions. Like, that's about the only thing you see him, anymore. And one of them said, "What's your name today? Is it Anthony Devolder or is it George Santos?"
Then when that name was said,
correct,
a week ago, then you realized.
I was sick. Yeah, to see that somebody like that could do something that dastardly could raise to such high position, that shouldn't be right. That shouldn't happen.
There's veteran Richard Osthoff with the dog Sapphire that he lost in that scam that Anthony Devolder in that particular case pulled on him, which I have to stop and pause for a second. Dastardly is a word that's not used nearly enough. I think I'm gonna incorporate that in my vocabulary. But still, he talked about this fraudulent case that he pulled on him, and his dog still died. We talked about it earlier this week. As a matter of fact, he's 47 years old. It was $3,000 that was raised. For some reason, George Santos wanted to go ahead and take that and end that dog's life. Also, by the way, since these allegations are swirling and everyone's talking about the latest things from George Santos, he actually responded on camera. Let's watch.
Don Lemon reached out to Santos, to George Santos, and got him to respond to you.
He told me, he said I was fake and it didn't. Yeah, I read that.
Let me read it so if everyone can hear, and I want to give you each a chance to respond to it. He said, I have no clue what he's talking about. And the crazy part is that anyone that knows me knows I'd go to hell and back for a dog, and especially a veteran. So this is just more of the pile-on effect. I have dozens of people reaching out to me in support, sharing their stories about their dogs and cats that I helped save and rescue. What do you each say to that?
Prove it, show us. He should show us if he has all these people that reach out to him and that love what he does and stuff. It's not, no.
I want to point out something that Santos did in that statement in response. He says, anybody who knows me knows that I love dogs and cats and I would do anything for them. That statement means absolutely nothing. It's very Donald Trumpian, and I think he kind of took it from that approach, because every time Donald Trump was accused of something, very legitimately accused with proof and evidence behind it, he'd say, anybody who knows anything about this knows that that's nonsense. Who's that and what do they know? Are you gonna tell us what it is? Perfect response there from Osthoff, who was like, okay, anybody who knows it, but how about you show it? He can't do that. Instead, it's just believe me, bro. By the way, his buddy that sit next to him, Michael Abol, who's president of the New Jersey Veterans Network, he also had some more details about Santos and what he's all about in this whole thing. Let's watch.
Coming here, staking my name of our charity on this. I back Rich 100% on this. There's no doubt in my mind that this was done, and it's horrible that this veteran has to go through this. Veterans, we lose them 22 a day. And our charity does whatever we can to prevent that from happening and work with other people and really rely on other charities. When a charity does something like this, another one, it just causes more problems for us to get the mission of saving our veterans' lives. And it's disgusting, and it's unfortunate that this happens in 2023 still to this day.
Well, I know it's hard for you to talk about this, and I appreciate you doing it. And of course, Michael, you coming as well.
I didn't want to have to go through any of this at all. Today has been just a whirlwind of people calling me and wanting to talk. And I'm a very private person. I have my dogs, and I really never have anybody over my house.
And everyone should know you have 2 dogs now.
2 dogs now.
And of course, Sapphire with you too.
Yeah, she'll always be with me.
2 dogs, and he mentioned a home as well. I was pointed out before, his dog was his companion as he was dealing with being unhoused there. So there's more details with George Santos and all that. But first, Farron, so we've got the story originally about the $3,000 worth that was scammed and taken by Santos with multiple different names. But now we have Richard Osthoff now talking to everyone. And I'm curious, I don't know if a bunch of politicians who are supporting Santos are finally gonna find this division between the 2 of them and choose which side they're actually gonna land on. Maybe they're already talking and I missed it, but your thoughts here?
Really, like you mentioned, the word dastardly. It applies perfectly here because you take every single thing that regardless of your political affiliation, everybody can agree to support. We're talking about an unhoused, disabled veteran and the service dog, and Santos scammed all of it. I mean, you take everything that everybody's like, no, this is something we all agree we love, and Santos wraps it all into one scheme, just one, on top of everything else. But I also want to say something interesting about DeSantos' statement, or Santos, sorry. It's not what he said, it's what he didn't say. He didn't say, this is a lie and I'm gonna sue this individual, because obviously if this were untrue, this would be a very clear-cut case of defamation. George Santos could absolutely file a lawsuit to make this stop. But he didn't even say that. Like, because I think deep down he knows this is not something I could win. We've seen politicians all the time threaten to sue for defamation, even though it's a very high bar to hit. But the fact that he wasn't even willing to say that or suggest it kind of shows that, yeah, Osthoff here, he's got the receipts. I mean, we've seen the text messages, we've seen the posts on social media that he has shared. I mean, it is difficult for Santos to lie about this. I mean, he's lying about it anyway, but the evidence is overwhelming in this particular instance. And for him to just come out and say, nope, didn't happen, I love dogs and cats, Osthoff is right. Well, show us, prove it. If you were actually running this charity, there are going to be receipts. I mean, there's old GoFundMe campaigns, right? I mean, you can access those. Where are they, George? But he won't do it because I'm willing to bet they probably don't exist.
It's probably pretty telling though, once you cross the animal and pet line, I guess you can screw over Americans and constituents and lie to people all you want, BS on your resume, get into office. Once they start fighting about how you screwed over a dog and you gotta make sure that she didn't get the treatment that she needed to save her life, I think that's pretty bipartisan. People are gonna come down hard on you on that.